Hello everyone and welcome back. I am very excited as I'm stood here today because I'm only a few days away from visiting my home country South Africa for a few weeks to escape the doom and gloom of the grey winter we've been having here in England and to swap it out for a bit of sunshine, I hope. And so today I thought, why not speak to you and show you a little bit more about Osteospermum, or African daisy, or Cape daisy as they're also known. Now they come from there, so I thought this would be appropriate. And the point of today's video is really to speak you through how to overwinter them, because I've never been very lucky with that process. I've always tried keeping them out in the garden over the colder months, and it's just never really worked for me. So I thought this year, let me bring them indoors, let me give them as much light as I can, not any additional heat or any special treatment in any other way, but just to see them through the cold and wet months. And it's worked. So I can show you now what they look like, and they're pretty much ready to be potted on. And while I'm away in South Africa, hopefully they'll establish a little bit more in their new growing media, and they'll grow and they'll be ready for when I come back, so that I can harden them off a little bit again and then move them out into the garden to grow away for the rest of the summer. So let's do it. Now there's no doubt they are looking a little bit straggly and probably a little bit worse for wear, but I brought in 2 pots indoors and I've left 1 outdoors. And there is a very big difference between what I can see. Now the outdoor one is in a protected area, but yet the leaves are looking pretty much brown, and to be honest with you, I'm not so sure if it survived. The 2 that I have indoors, of which this is one of them, have actually been flowering throughout the whole winter, strangely enough. I guess the correct thing would have been to remove the flowers, but I wasn't too scientific or too particular about it, so I've just left them do their thing. As you can see, this one has got a yellow flower with a lovely purple eye, and quite boring, the variety is called yellow purple eye. But yes, they're mainly annual plants. They're half-hardy or tender in most cases, although I think the half-hardy might really depend on the variety and even the species, because there are so many. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there are 73 accepted species of Osteospermum. And typically, being from South Africa, they enjoy a lot of light and a lot of warmth, but don't think that they love drought conditions. They actually do need quite a lot of water, I found. I sometimes get a bit annoyed by them, because in the garden, especially if you plant them in a container, I find that you have to really keep on top of the watering and the feeding. They are pretty hungry. But once they get established, and once you have them in a spot that they like, in amongst grasses or other perennials, they do really, really, really romp away and do their thing. So I think they're lovely, but I'm happy that I've brought them indoors this year, because I think I would have found that they probably wouldn't have survived the winter like the one that I have outside. So here it is. It's straggly, as you can see. It's leaning over. It's slightly big, I guess, for this pot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repot it right now, and then I'll speak you through some of the things I've done to just overwinter it, and hopefully it's been enough, but so far it seems that way. So I'm going to take it out of its pot, and we can have a look at its roots, see if the roots have established, because I actually put it into this pot in the late autumn to try and see if it will grow a little bit more. So here's the final revelation. Let's see how it's gone. And then I think I will probably have to prune it down a bit, because it just does seem a bit lanky. Right. Yeah, so as you can see from there are roots all the way to the bottom, so that is a good sign. So I'm going to just take off a little bit of this old compost, exposing the roots, and then putting it in maybe a slightly larger pot, and then probably going to give it a bit of a trim, and that should be kind of TLC needed for its establishment now into the spring and summer. So that looks good. The plant to root ratio, however, is a little bit off. You can see there aren't as many roots as there are leaves, so I do think it will probably benefit from a bit of a prune. In these last few seconds, I've actually decided I'm going to keep it in its original pot, because I don't want to overwhelm the roots with kind of damp compost when it's still pretty much early in the year. And I guess I will be planting it into the garden, into a much bigger container, or even directly into the ground at some point when it's warm enough. So I'm not going to necessarily waste all those resources to put it in a very big pot, because it won't be its permanent house. So I'm going to keep it to its original pot. And then I'm just going to use a multi-purpose compost, a very light and airy and fluffy multi-purpose compost, as you can see. And I'm just going to plant it back inside. I might put it a little bit deeper than what it was. There you can see that was the original plug, as it was a plug plant before. So I'm going to probably bury it to that first sort of separation in the stem. Hopefully that's not too deep. I must admit, I'm not an expert with them. I guess they are really just kind of, they're not that different from any bedding plant. So I don't think they need any preferential treatment or any special treatment. But you can see it is just ever so lanky. I don't really know whether cutting it down will do it much good. I'm a little bit worried about it actually, because I don't want to cut it and then lose all this foliage. But this is why this channel is called Blunder Then Bloom. We might make a big blunder and the blooms might be better, or not, and then we've learned a lesson. So bear with me, stick with me, and hopefully we learn something good from this. So there it is. It is just ever so lanky, even in its new pot, even planted slightly deeper. So I think I'm going to do a very, very severe thing and cut it right down. And then in a few weeks, we'll see what happens to it. Right, I think we're going to have to be brave and really cut it down and see what happens. I'll cut this one down and I won't cut the second one down, and we'll have to do a comparison. This is, after all, part of the fun of gardening, is experimenting, learning, and sometimes the unexpected happens for the better. So here you can see there's a cluster of leaves, so I'm pretty much going to leave that. It's always better to start a little bit further away and then work your way inwards, because once you've cut down there, there's no going back. So yeah, I might just do that. I won't start all the way at the top. But saying that, there isn't any green growth further down the stems, so this is definitely a challenge, and I'm uncertain what's going to happen. But let's go for it and hope for the best. Yeah, these stems are just too heavy. Well, this certainly breaks my heart. But sometimes it's for the better. Well, there you go. It's a very, very much smaller part of its original former glory. And hopefully I'm not going to be sending it into shock. Maybe those of you watching this have experience, and you can tell me in the comments whether you anticipate anything will go wrong or whether it will be absolutely fine. I'd appreciate that, and you could put me out of my misery sooner than my having to wait a couple of weeks to see what happens. Here's the second one. So hopefully it's rooted just as well. Let's see. Looks to be the case. As you can see, the roots have gone all the way to the bottom. So again, I'm just going to loosen it. You might see here that I have a little bit of an iris bulb, which has placed itself in amongst the compost, and that's fine. It's welcome to stay. And yeah, again, ratio of leaves to roots not quite balanced, so I guess I'm going to have to adjust for that, and I'm actually going to use a smaller pot, as you can see here, and instead of kind of letting it drown, I'm just going to put it in there. It's probably not big enough, to be fair, but give it a go and see how it does. Firm it down, and this is the one I'm going to actually leave and not prune, and we will then be able to see in a few weeks' time whether it matters or whether it doesn't. So I'll water these in, and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison to see who wins. So this is what I'm left with. Specimen A and specimen B, of which this one, as you know, was pruned and this one was left. We'll have to see what happens. And now this brings me on to how to overwinter them indoors. It's very basic in my opinion. I brought them in as the temperatures started dropping in late autumn and certainly before the first frosts. And I placed them under some growth lights. And what I did was I turned the pots regularly so that all sides of the plant could be exposed to the light. And then I really just watered as needed. And this is something I find with osteospermum. They show you when they're thirsty. And so I would water them, I would let them drain, the water drain away, and then place them back under the lights and just repeat the same process. I didn't give them any fertilizer or any liquid feed because technically in these cooler months, even though they are shielded from the cold indoors, they are not meant to be growing as much. They seem to have prioritized root growth, which is a good thing. And hopefully, now that it starts warming up and the light levels start increasing, the foliage will grow as well. So very simple, keep them indoors, shaded from or shielded at least from any frost, water as required, and they're good to go. So this is going to be an experiment. Have I killed one of these plants? Only time will tell. I'd really appreciate if you let me know if you have any experience with osteospermums. Let me know in the comments if you think I've made a massive mistake by doing what I just have, or maybe I haven't. I don't know. And if you enjoy content like this, please do consider subscribing to my channel, where I talk about lots of things from sowing to planting to caring for plants. And in the next few weeks, as I will be traveling, I will be covering some plants and some gardens back in South Africa. So if you're keen to see that, then do subscribe so that you don't miss anything. See you in the next one. Bye for now.